2021 budget defense begins as Minister of Works and Housing appears before the Senate. Federal government to ratify membership of Nigeria to International Coffee Organization. And oil prices fall with U.S. prices ending at more than 1 week low. This is Business Express reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. And I am Benny Adams, your guide. We begin by telling you that the Central Bank of Nigeria has reviewed requirement for appointment of chief compliance officers by banks. The Central Bank stated this in a letter titled Status of Chief Compliance Officers signed by its Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Kevin Amugo, a copy of which was posted on its website. Precisely, the bank stated that merchant banks, regional banks, commercial and specialized have been granted allowance to appoint CCOS on a grade not below an assistant general manager. But the CCOS would, however, report directly to the executive compliance officer of the financial institutions who has sole responsibility for compliance matters in the bank. The Federal Executive Council has approved that ratification of Nigeria's membership to the International Coffee Organization. Nigeria certainly has an estimated 1 million people in the coffee value chain across the country. Also approved is a new national policy on plastic waste management, as well as a bill for the establishment of the Council for Traditional, Alternative and Complementary Medicine Practice in Nigeria.
The benefits that will come to the country would include allocation of coffee development projects. We'll have access to finance for our farmers, and all these things we feel are things that will assist to improve the yield of coffee in Nigeria. We'll be actively involved in creating policies that will improve the trade of coffee.
The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, is the first minister to appear before the Senate to defend the budget proposal of the ministry. He says with a budget of 435.3 billion naira, the ministry will give priority to the completion of works on the 711 ongoing highway projects and the 2021 budget.
Cover all the 6 zones so nobody can fairly say and say that we cannot continue like this. This is the time to say no more new projects. Let us focus our resources on what we have.
I pray that, like Oliver Twist, the Ibi Ukari roads will follow.
Are we going to continue that route from Ihechuawa to Aruchuku? Because there's some 15 kilometers there. It takes 4 hours to go on 15-kilometer route.
The House of Representatives has ordered the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to review all currently frozen accounts in Nigeria within 48 hours. The House also asked the Apex Bank to remove the freeze order on accounts unconditionally frozen after 1 week. The resolution followed the passage of a motion brought under urgent national importance by Mark Bila. Bila, a lawmaker, said all accounts frozen must be under clear violations of the provisions of the 1999 Constitution and Section 608 of Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, BOFIA 2004. Futures declined Wednesday with U.S. prices at their lowest in over a week. Prices found little support as traders continued to fret over the potential for further pandemic-related economic shutdowns that would weaken demand. The Energy Information Administration on Wednesday reported a weekly decline in U.S. crude supplies, the second one in a row, but it was smaller than expected. December West Texas Intermediate crude fell $1.67 to end at $40.03 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. That was the lowest front-month contract finish since October 12th, according to FactSet data. And now transactions on the floor of the Nigerian stock market closed Wednesday on a negative note as the NSE ASI depreciated by 0.75% to close at 28,449.49 basis points, losing on the gains recorded Tuesday. Market breadth closed negative as WAPIC led 4 gainers as against 34 losers, topped by Royalex. At the end of the day's session, market turnover closed positive as volume moved by 9.84%. UBA, Zenith Bank and Guarantee were the most active to boost market turnover. Guarantee and Zenith Bank topped market value. Well, it goes without saying that the EndSARS protests across the country and activities of hoodlums have affected businesses across the country. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry disclosed that the Nigerian economy may have lost about 700 billion naira to the EndSARS protests in the last 12 days. How bad is the situation? I am being joined by Tajuddin Olayinka, a consultant and stockbroker at Valmont Securities, to discuss the impact on the ongoing EndSARS protests and curfews on businesses and the stock market. Mr. Tajuddin, you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, reports say about 700 billion naira may have been lost due to the protests. What do you think of this figure, or could it be more than that?
Well, the best way to estimate that is to look at impacts of impact across industries, and once you have that kind of figure from FCCI, it's obvious that they feel it more. The figure cannot be. I don't think it should be more than that, but it may not. It may not be less than that as well. It will just be about the about the right figure that we may be experiencing at this time.
Okay, Mr. Tajuddin, can you sit up a bit so that we see you clearer? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tajuddin. Okay, looking at these activities, these protests in Lagos and other parts of the country, how long do you think this will continue? And looking at the impact, how long will it take for this state to recover from such losses?
Well, it depends on how market looks at it. Generally, I expect to see reaction from government in terms of government either responding to exactly what the youth wanted, or just go midway and satisfy their needs and also satisfy the needs of everyone in the economy. I wouldn't want to say that it's something that will drag for too long. But the way I see it, I do not expect government to just relax and sit by and allow things to deteriorate. So obviously, I see it more as a short-term problem that will be resolved, in a very short while.
Well, still on that question, Lagos is the wealthiest city business-wise. Apart from what is ongoing with the curfew, can you give us an estimate of the losses?
For instance, we can even look at, you can look at it from the perspective of stock market. The losses are quite huge. Right now, even those of us who are still operating the market are doing so remotely. You can see that I'm also operating. I'm operating from home. You can't go to the office. You can't go to places where you're supposed to go. So all these really hinder activities in the market, and really we are not likely to be able to do much. And so this will further disrupt the activities in the economy and further slow down everything that we are hoping to actually bring up. So the situation we have, we just have to pray that in a short while this problem is resolved. And I also believe that in a short while it will be resolved. It's not something that will drag on for too long, because whatever reaction we see now are temporary reactions. Yes, market is losing money, and every economic agent is also complaining. But it will be a temporary thing. Once government makes announcement, you will see everything firming up again. So it's a temporary setback. We surely come back to our feet.
Okay, no doubt transactions in the markets have actually not been doing well. Then coupled with this, it is worsening the situation, transactions in the market. But looking at it, what stocks have been resolute amid all of this?
Well, maybe you can only see the depression is coming from those very liquid stocks, the high cap stocks that normally move with the market. And if I say a particular stock is actually maybe only a few stocks, but most high cap stocks have been affected. Like I said, it's temporary. What we are seeing is a situation where some investors are we just panic and sell just to be able to hold cash temporarily. And those who had wanted to come to the market before and were not opportune to do so because of high prices, will also now see advantage. So it's going to be more of a balanced market, going forward. Yes, it's a problem, but I can't really pick a stock that that is not affected, except those penny stocks. Those low cap stocks are not really affected. But it doesn't mean that they command very strong values. No. Those stocks that command strong values are the liquid stocks, and are the ones that have been affected. The ones that are not so liquid will not be badly affected. And so that's the state we have. If you look at the performance of banking stocks yesterday, you will see that we had they all dropped, even with the panic. Most of them dropped to their lowest price for yesterday, and they quickly recover. You can see that in Zenith Bank. You can see that even in GTB. Across board, some stocks actually recover. The prices will have been worse than what we saw at the close of market. But in the course of in the cost of trading, market firm up again, and that was why we saw some good movement. So some stocks are still very, very good, even with the current low prices. Most of the banking stocks are still very good. The Zenith, GTP, and even the low cap stocks in the banking industry are still very good. So basically, I won't pick a particular stock, but I know that generally low cap stocks are not badly affected. But it does not necessarily mean that low cap stocks are good.
Okay, with this affecting local stocks, what happens to foreign investors and their investments? Foreign
investors will not. The only time they react is when we have shock, when we have external shock. This is a local crisis. We are not seeing any impact on the crude oil prices yet. And so I do not expect, even though there are not many at this time, because a lot of them left the market during that COVID lockdown. So those of them that are still in the market, I do not expect them to panic to leave the market, because we are not having any crisis of external nature that is coming from this local crisis. So it's not external in nature. So it's not going to really affect foreign investors at this time, except it drags on for too long, and then they see that the listed companies and businesses in Nigeria will not be able to return profit. Then they can begin to leave.
Okay, being a key player in the industry, what do you see happening in a few days and towards the end of the week? What do you project?
Come again?
As a being a key player in the industry, with these activities, with this ongoing, what do you see happening in a few days and towards the week? What are your projections?
Yeah, well, we will still see. We are not going to see aggressive buying, and we are also not going to see much of aggressive selling. Now that what we saw yesterday, even when market went to their low, the very lowest prices for yesterday, some of those stocks recovered in their prices. So it means that even what will happen today, depending on what how government handle this issue, we will not see much of panic selling again. Although we are not likely to see aggressive buying. So market will continue to maintain a balance, and you see more of bargain hunting and people or investors also trying to take profit in the short time.
I want to also believe that investors will be looking at response from government to kind of shape their perception about the ongoings in the market. Do you share same views with me?
Exactly. You are very, very correct. That's exactly the way things are. Everybody is just watching. But when you are watching, you don't just move out of your out of your very good investment. You hold on to those investments. It's only those ones that are likely to be threatened by the ongoing crisis or threatened perpetually that you can exit from. But for now, I do not expect that kind of problem to arise. And as such, your optimism is as good as mine.
Okay. At the same time, what do you wish? What do you see happening in the overall? Your thoughts?
Because of the state we have, before now, we were looking at the state of the economy, especially the impact of the COVID and the government responses. We thought that before, when government made the announcement of economic intervention program in July this year, we thought that the implementation will commence in earnest, but it wasn't so. So we are looking at a likely situation where we're going to recession. And with what is happening now, I don't know whether we'll have some kind of a prolonged or U-shaped recession. But if this thing is allowed to prolong, we may be running into a problem which can create problem for some investors and even those who are in the risk sectors as well. So basically, I think it depends on how government, because clearly I cannot say that much will happen because government responded late. Technically, I believe we should be in recession now. But whether we go into recession that will come out quickly is it's another issue. But if it's not well managed, we probably go into recession that will just reflect what we had in 2016. So basically, we hope that government will continue to implement right policies and programs that will take economy out of the problem, and of course improve the loss of the market as well.
Okay, no doubt. From the figures we have from the NBS, we are likely moving into that recession in the third quarter, in the last quarter of the year. But you know that government is also making efforts to ensure that we don't get there, and also projecting further, looking at the 2021 proposed budget. It is a budget of recovery and resilience. What is the private sector doing, particularly the stock markets, to ensure that they complement government efforts to achieving a stable and sustainable economy?
Yeah, well, market is a market on its own. The policies of government will impact the market, and not the market impacting the policies without government, taking that lead. In my own view, I have thought that when the president signed the 2.3 trillion naira intervention fund that they did in July, I thought they would start almost immediately. At the time the president signed signed on that policy, the economy had the latitude to avert the recession. But the state we have now, because they started the implementation in September, it's unlikely that we will not have some drag on the economy. So the situation we have is that most businesses will adjust. The market will support the market will support the economy once businesses can raise money. But business will be able to raise money once market itself, once market gets the best of its structure with the support of the government. So basically, the market is there to support the economy in any way.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Tajuddin Olayinka, stockbroker, Valmont Securities, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on Business Express.
Thank you, too.
Okay, moving on. The IMF on Wednesday downgraded its forecast for Asia Pacific to 2.2% in 2020, and shares in Asia Pacific declined in Thursday's trade. Other markets also head for lower open as U.S. stimulus talks continue. Let's join Bosede Ebel with the global stock market update.
Various factors have continued to affect global markets. In the United States, futures contracts tied to the major U.S. stock indices fell in early morning trading of 22nd October and suggested further losses ahead for markets when regular trading resumes. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures dropped 200 points, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures both also traded in negative territory. Asia Pacific stocks declined in Thursday trade as the International Monetary Fund on Wednesday downgraded its growth forecasts. Nikkei dipped 0.7%, Shanghai Composite down 0.27%, and the Hang Seng Index also dipped 0.25%. Stocks in Europe opened in negative territory amid continuing uncertainty over U.S. coronavirus stimulus. For Africa, Namibia's overall index, Nairobi's all-share, and South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 opened in positive territory, while Ghana's GSE Composite and Tunisia's Tunidex depreciated. Bosede Ebu, Business Express.
African trade experts are seeking swift implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area to lift the continent out of the economic downturn caused by COVID-19. AFCFTA Secretary General Wamkele Mene in Senegal said the pandemic had, for the first time in 25 years, caused a contraction of gross domestic products (GDP) of between 2 and 5% in sub-Saharan Africa. He noted the projection that the implementation of the AFCFTA would boost intra-Africa trade by more than $35 billion, while increasing value chain development across all sectors and reducing trade deficit by 50%. Deputy Director, International Trade Center, ITC, a joint agency of the World Trade Organization and the United Nations, Dorothy Tembo said Africa must work towards operating as one trade bloc by January 1st, 2021. She also announced the launch of One Trade Africa, a new ITC program to unlock full business potential of the AFCFTA, targeted at micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And moving on, oil remains anchored around $40 per barrel, awaiting a new direction. Coronavirus cases are on the rise and raise new concerns about demand as travel restrictions begin to increase in the U.S. The market is hoping for federal stimulus, but odds look remote until after the election. How are the oil prices and other commodities faring? Up next is a look at the currency exchange in early trading in the currency market. This is where we end this episode of Business Express. Be informed that this and all other previous episodes are on the NTS channel. And as usual, keep safe. Business Express returns tomorrow at 3 p.m.